If you haven't heard, I will be racing for real at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway July 5th through the 8th at the USAC Battle at the Brickyard. If you'd be interested in contributing any sponsorship to the program, be sure to head over to my Indy Go-Go campaign. Sponsorships over $50 before July 4th are guaranteed to have a space and your name on my cart.
4 laps, 10 miles. You have to be super fast and consistent to make the grade at Indianapolis. Car number 87 has crashed out.
It's time for the 1965 running of the Indianapolis 500. As you can see, all of the cars that have attempted to qualify so far have been very diverse. Rear engine, front engine cars, and that dynamic is potentially going to create the most dynamic race in this entire career mode. Will the rear engine cars triumph, or will the front engine cars be able to fuel mileage their way into a victory? Right now, as you can tell, Billy Foster is on the pole position in a rear-engine Watson chassis. Bobby Johns goes to second. You saw Bobby Unser there for just a brief second in one of the front-engine Novi cars. So very, very diverse field of racing cars here. And there's only 5 qualifiers right now out of 46 entrants. As Fred Naylor crashes out, Al Unser is about to go out, and we'll put the car third on the grid right now. 157 miles an hour is actually slower than my pole position of last year, so we haven't really seen very much speed out of the field so far. Interesting that the march of technology hasn't necessarily equaled to speed, as Lloyd Ruby goes to second at 155 miles per hour. And we've got a mechanical issue. That may be our first one of qualifying. I haven't been paying attention too much to the first kind of half of the field here. Singlestead goes into the field, so everybody kind of around that 153, 154 mile an hour range, as Gordon Johncock proves and goes to third outside the front row right now. Jerry Grant makes his first appearance in the career mode. That's a driver who will eventually have a pretty interesting career. We've got Parnelli Jones coming up, so this is going to be kind of a measuring stick in terms of what the pole position is going to need to be. And Parnelli goes to the pole position at 157 miles per hour. Remember, it's a 4-lap average here at Indianapolis. I don't know if I necessarily have to remind everybody of that, but yeah, so he may have done a couple of laps in the 160 mile an hour range, but if he had one bad lap, that'll put him down. We've got just a few more cars to wait for until we get out there, as Al Miller puts in a questionable speed of 143 miles an hour. Bill Cheeseburg coming out here. Is he going to go? Well, he was fast at Trenton, but he was not fast today at Indianapolis. Johnny Rutherford goes to fourth on the grid. So we'll be out next to qualify, make our first attempt on the Brawner chassis with the Ford engine. That is the car that I have chosen to run after my great run at Trenton, despite the fact that I kind of screwed up at the end of the race. We've got Dan Gurney and Joe Leonard still to go. Mario Andretti still to go. I do not see, did I miss him, or where is Jimmy Clark? Did I miss Jimmy Clark, or is he just not on the entry? No, he passed. He waved off. So Jimmy Clark deciding to go later in the day, but you know what? We're gonna go ahead and go early. Actually, you know what? Should I pass? You know what? Let's pass. Let's see where the speeds end up going. We'll only have one shot at pole position. There's time left at the end of the draw. I think we got 3.5 hours to go. Should we do this? Should we wait to see what Jimmy Clark does? I kind of want to to that. Now let's do it.
Car number 77 has crashed out.
So,
car number 17 has
Dan Gurney gets a mechanical issue.
Car number 91 is next to make a
car
run.
91, all right. Come on, Johnny.
Lap.
Oh, Johnny Boy did not put car 91 in a very good position. Jim
Car number
Hurtubise
59
going to
is
third.
Next to make a run.
Hurtubise drives a front-engined Roadster. And then we've got Chuck Rohde
car number 19
coming out at 9th spot. So Hurtubise's on the front row in a Roadster. That's pretty interesting. Joe Leonard in 15th in a Hallebrand, one of the cars I drove in the last year's Indianapolis 500. Rich Cook doesn't go very far. Maston Gregory, a Formula One driver coming over for this year's Indianapolis 500, doesn't quite have the pace, but that should be a solid speed with 12th spot. The winner at Trenton, Don Branson, goes to 8th spot on the grid. Thomas Auto crashes out. Man, this is a lot of crashing going on. Mario Andretti, this is going to be the key. He crashes. Mario crashes during qualifying. Boy, I hope it wasn't like his 2003 crash. And Jim McElreath goes to the 9th spot. So we'll continue on to the remainder of pole day here. At the moment, Parnelli Jones sits on the pole.
After the run through the draw for another chance at the pole for drivers yet to post a speed. Car number 9.
Okay, so Uncle Bobby in the Novi goes to third on the grid, 156.
Car number 1
and
has
AJ Foyt breaks down. So a lot of big names having trouble right
Car
now.
number 18
Arnie Knepper goes to 7th. 45 minutes to go in the session. We'll wait one more car. Okay, we're gonna go next. We're gonna go next. We waited a little, almost I would say too long, but we're trying to kind of box out the guys like AJ Foyt, Jim Clark, and Mario Andretti. If they start deep in the field, that may be a good way to do it. So there's the old Brawner with the Ford engine. Everything's up to date. This is as hot a ticket as you can possibly get to try to go for the pole position at Indianapolis. So let's see if we can get it. Because I'm just not sure. We, again, haven't seen much of the Lotus team. Jim Clark, Dan Gurney, those guys, they haven't made attempts. And, of course, guys like AJ Foyt, Mario Andretti still kind of waiting in the wings, even though they both had crashes. So who knows where they'll end up. Possibly second-day qualifiers as we head off into turn 3. A little bit of a slide for my car there on the warm-up lap. We're going to see what we've got here as we're going to be coming around turn 4 and taking the green flag. And I should say, while I've got a moment, that the Brawner from 1965 is actually the cover car on the cover of the box. It's of course, Mario's 1965 car. Okay, 162, so there you go. We're good right now, so I'm going to drive nice and conservative. If we get beat by Clark, we get beat by Clark. I'm going to put this car in the show. Part of the thing I found in qualifying with this Brawner is it's very wide at the rear, and if you think you've kind of got some room on the outside to kind of move up close to the wall, or at least try to make some big moves on the outside with this car, you can't quite do it because the rear wheel will catch on the wall and actually spin you around into the wall, cause some damage, and kind of ruin your race. So trying to be conservative here. Oh, I almost pushed up into the wall. And you can see how close, you know, even if the front wheels aren't very close to the wall, the rear wheels certainly are. So got to be very conservative about that. That's going to be tough in traffic as well, I suspect, on a track like Indianapolis. And of course, traffic is going to be a key, as it usually is on 64. Wow. Okay, so 7 miles an hour faster than Parnelli Jones right now, so really laying it down here in qualifying. I don't know if anybody's going to be able to touch that, but then again, we've got 3 more laps to complete. So again, just got to hold on to it here as we round through turn 2, down on the back straightaway, which looks like it's been repaved. It looks like a little bit different surface here on the back straightaway versus the turns, or at least turn 2. It looks like turn 3 hasn't quite got the same style of pavement as turn 2. So interesting. It looks like half the track is paved and half of it isn't. Yeah, look right here. As we head into turn 4, there's a different pavement over here. So I guess they only got half the track paved for some reason. Interesting. Anyway, down the main straightaway, onto some new pavement. Of course, this is the new pavement that was laid down after the 1961 500, paving over the bricks. And then we head into turn 1 on some old pavement, as we run very consistent laps there on lap 1 and 2. And on the old pavement here in 1 and 2, by the short chute grandstands, which have a nice cover on them. I wish they still did. Heading through turn 2, kind of getting a little bit low out of there, not really running the best line. Down the back straightaway. But you can just see the speeds, very, very consistent. I'm just looking at the times as well. 76 to an 80 in terms of the thousandths of a second. Not too bad, I would say. Not too bad. As I go through turn 3. Again, just trying to keep the car on the straight and narrow. We don't need to push it harder than we need to. Right now, just got to get it in the show and possibly on the pole position. And right now, it looks like it's looking pretty good. But of course, still got 2.5 miles to go as I cross the line. 164. That was actually as fast as I had gone on lap 1. So lap 2, slowest. But again, just running very incredibly consistent laps right now. This is exactly what I wanted to do. If I really wanted to push it, I could probably get 2 or 3 miles an hour out of it, just using the whole road, but don't really need to do it. If we need that pace in the race, we'll go for it. Of course, we will need a pit stop during the race, so that is going to be a big key. And another thing I just noticed is how many cars are in the infield in turn 3. I never noticed that about this game. Perhaps that's something that's been added to the game, or added in the recent years. Every version of this Indianapolis Motor Speedway is slightly different from what I understand. This is something kind of a detail that the game developers did that I appreciate. But down next to the wall, kind of a modern way to do that, 164.35 on 3 separate laps. Well, you won't get any more consistent than that. We become the 30th qualifier and the pole position car.
There is time left today after the run through the draw for another chance at the pole for drivers yet to post a speed. A fantastic
So, Bob
lap.
Veith is the next driver out as there's 13 minutes remaining. Is Jimmy Clark going to get a shot? Yes, he does. He goes to second at 159 miles an hour. Still 5 miles per hour off of my time. And the final qualifier for today is Don Westman. We actually used up the entirety of the 6 hours for qualifications. I think that's the first time that has happened in this game. It just goes to show you the competitive nature of this field. With 33 drivers out of 46 already qualified, Bump Day is going to be crazy. So let's head on to Bump Day.
With the grid full, the drivers yet to post a speed will have to bump the slowest qualifiers from the grid.
So Al Miller on the bubble. Dan Gurney in the second Lotus is going to try to get in the show. Can he do it? 158 miles an hour, he will do it. That would have been enough for the front row, but Gurney will roll off 33rd at the moment as McCluskey in a Hallebrand is going to try to bump his way in, bump past Carlos Daltoni, which he will do easily. So McCluskey goes to 33rd. Gurney will move up a spot to 32nd. Rich Cook is going to try to bump out Ian Cadman. Will he be able to do it? 150 miles an hour? No, just missed it. Just missed the show. That's as close as you're going to get. Matt Anglis, is he going to bump his way into the show? We got to wait to see what Matt will do. Yeah, no. 150.2 versus 150.25. Wow. Haskin probably will make it, seeing as he has an avatar for his car. Then again, we saw one of the other drivers, one of the real-life drivers, miss it. But 155 miles an hour, that's easily going to make the show and be pretty safe. As you can see how many cars are clustered at the 153-mile-an-hour range as Len Sutton goes to 155 miles an hour, bumps out Don Westman. That's a good speed right there. John Power, it's a nice name. Is he related to Will? That's Will's grandpa. Will's grandpa is here, and he bumps his way into the show. What an upset for John Power. And is he going to be able to make his way back into the field? We'll see. AJ Foyt, can he bump? Oh, yeah, at 160 miles an hour. The second driver at 160 miles an hour. I was the first, and bumps out Power. So Power was in, and now Power is out as Andy Lundin is going to try to get in. He crashes. Mario, where is Mario? Mario has not made a qualification attempt, and there he is in the second Brawner. Can Mario get in the show? I believe he probably will. 158 miles an hour. Yes, that will easily do it. He'll be the third fastest qualifier on Bump Day. Bill Cheeseburg on the bubble. Rob Williams going to try to bump his way in. This is a big number, and 150 miles an hour will not cut it. 152 is the bubble speed for Cheeseburg. Andy Lundin going to try it again. Can he get in the show? Is he going to get in the show? No. 150. In fact, I think he was slower than his first qualification attempt. And I think Thomas Otto is going to try to bump his way in. A lot of drivers that we don't quite think will make the show are not making it right now as Otto crashes. And Fred Naylor going to try to get in the show. Can Fred Naylor bump out Bill Cheeseburg? My goodness, how many cars have shown up for this thing? 150.1, that will not do it either. Seems like a lot of these guys are in the 150-mile-an-hour range. Otto, I believe this is his third and final attempt, so if he doesn't get it in this time, he's toast. And at 151, he improves, but not enough. Not enough to bump out Bill Cheeseburg. And that is going to be your starting grid for the 49th running of the Indianapolis 500. Let's take a look at the starting grid as I will take the pole position in the Brawner-Ford. Outside the front, or in middle of the front row is Jim Clark. On the outside is Parnelli Jones, Billy Foster, Bobby Unser, Jim Hurtubise in row 2. Row 3, Lloyd Ruby, Johnny Rutherford, Arnie Knepper. Row 4, Gordon Johncock, Ronnie Duman, and Don Branson. Jim McElreed, Jerry Grant, Chuck Rohde. In row 5, I don't know. Anyway, going down through the rest of the field, we got Al Unser in 18th, Maston Gregory 19th, we've got Joe Leonard in 23rd, George Snyder in 25th, AJ Foyt leading up that charge from the back. That's going to be very interesting to keep track of in 28th, 29th, Dan Gurney, Mario Andretti. What an incredible row that is. And then you've got the final row, Sutton, Haskin, and McCluskey. So once again, we will lead the field to green at the Indianapolis 500, but there are roadsters in contention. Bobby Unser may be the spoiler in the 1965 Indy 500. Of course, in real life, it was Jim Clark, but he was on the pole in 1965. Can he win from second? We'll have to wait and see. So that will be the next video, the 49th running of the Indianapolis 500. Hope to see you there. Thank you guys so much for watching. This has been David Land on YouTube, and we'll see you at the 65 Indy 500.